Welcome to The Kingdom Sleeps, the fantasy bedtime story decided by the roll of a dice. My name's Andrew, I'll be your story master for this evening.
And my name's Tom, and tonight I'll be playing Yohm.
Tonight we will once again be following Yohm and his spirit friend Tonto on his journey towards Ludock's cave. Tom, before we start today's episode, I'd like to ask you a little question about Yohm, or perhaps how Yohm perceives himself. Do you think he would at all describe himself as a hero?
Currently, definitely not. And I think if he had room to stop and think about it though, and maybe share a drink with a friend, he could at least acknowledge he might be on a bit of a hero's journey. As a young one, he enjoyed a lot of stories. Everyone in his small clan did. They shared many stories. So the idea of him and his current situation and journey being worthy of that sort of storytelling potential, I think that resonates with him. But yeah, Yohm has a few too many things in his own way, so to speak, for him to consider himself a hero just yet. But with someone like Tonto around, a fantastic supporter and cheerleader of sorts as he is, it's hard not to feel those feelings sometimes. But yeah, I don't think he's confident in what he's done yet enough to say he's a hero.
Yeah, maybe not personally, but like you say, with the friends around to support you, sometimes it's easier to see along with your friends the goodness in yourself as well, and the potential one has. And we'll see if Yohm continues to grow in his feelings towards his own potential as he adventures on. I'd like to say a huge thank you to the contributing artists for today's episode. Today's episode art is made by John Merton, and today's music has been composed by Dominik Kalajdzic. If you'd like to help support the amazing artists that help make this show possible, links are in the description. But without further ado, close your eyes, make yourselves comfortable, and join us where the kingdom sleeps. Yohm. It certainly feels, as you stand here upon the precipice of the main chamber of Ludock's cave, that you are a far distance from home. Thousands of miles at this point from the hot, dusty deserts of Schwertsuna, where this unexpected adventure first began, where, upon a seemingly routine day on your guiding in the desert, you came upon that first unusual Mamu spirit. You met your spirit friend, Tonto, and you became in touch with these unusual and somewhat difficult to grapple with new abilities. And since that time, Yohm has done much. Like I say, travelled far across to this almost alien landscape of Schwertsuna. Its tall mountains and cold, bleak, snowy landscapes. All in search of answers. All to discover one thing. What is it that is afflicting the spirits of this world? What is causing the Mamu, the dreams of the great giant who sleeps beneath your feet, to turn, to look to darkness, to create havoc for the people across Sopros? Why now? What makes them behave this way? And what can you do about it? And as you just begin to creep over the precipice of the archway of this long, man-made tunnel that is the entrance to the mine within Ludock's cave, you suddenly find yourself within this large main chamber that appears to be the working area, or at least the entrance to the working area of this mine of bright stone. But the first thing that strikes your eye as you enter this space, only lit by the torch you hold in your hand and the soft glow of Tonto, your spirit friend, who walks by your side. That first sight is something quite unusual, but perhaps something that triggers distant memory. Something from way back on the plains of Schwertsuna you encountered upon your journey to Sunkult. Before I describe what you see directly in front of you, I'd like you to roll me a perception check, please.
Natural 20 for a total of 24.
On a natural 20, it seems that gearing yourself up to what has been a long and momentous journey to be here at what feels like the source of all these problems that you've been trying to solve for all this time. You are on the sharpest form you've ever been. You are fully prepared to acknowledge and examine everything within this cave. Regardless, the most prominent thing that you notice as you enter, along these mining tracks, this railway of sorts that ferry the carriages, the carts that move the bright stone from inside of the cave, that track all the way back behind you towards the village of Teord. Right there in front of you, on these rails, sit three mining carts attached to each other by hinges. First two of which you can see plainly are empty. The last of which, at the very end, furthest away from you, contains something very, very strange. You can see what looks like huge, unadulterated blocks of brightstone, clearly mined and chipped to be squared off and ferried in these carriages. But on top of these blocks is this dark, seemingly viscous, undulating ooze of blackness. And from it appear to be wisping tendrils, almost like tentacles, sometimes almost appearing as if they are hands, just whooping out from its center and almost as if they are grasping out I say this thing seems very much alive. It is undulating. It is vibrating in itself on top of this bright stone. And upon a 20 perception, you can see clearly that it looks like it is coming from the bright stone. It looks like it is almost either devouring it or growing from it as it sits there in this cart. This is the most prescient thing in your mind. Outside of this, you are able to fully see this, let's say, large, tall ceilinged chamber in all its detail. Despite the low light you find yourself in, you are keen to the details around you. You are aware of the blue Mamu that seemingly hide along the tops of the walls and the high ceiling, as if they are trying to stay quite far away from this thing that undulates on the floor at the center. You're also aware of certain features of this cave that do not seem man-made, or I'll say again that perhaps are man-made but not of a mine. The small tunnel you came through appeared to be of miners' work, as if they were engineered. And much of what you see in front of you appears to be created by miners, but certain details on the walls and on the floor, carvings that look artistic, of depictions of Mamu whirling around in concentric circles, geometric patterns along the floor, specifically this large circular, almost looks like a sigil carved, engraved upon the floor with some sort of Mamu sculpture or engraving in the center of it that lays underneath the track itself, as if it's being callously built over the top of. You could easily distinguish from that 20 that these miners have encountered something ancient, something old, what looks like a temple of sorts, and belligerently blown through it in order to reach the bright stone at its heart, the heart of this mountain. And you can see that there is at the back of this track, another large tunnel that runs deeper into the cave, where you would presume the bulk of the bright stone is produced. Yohm, as you stand here and absorb this atmosphere, what first goes through your mind, and what do you first do?
Immediately upon noticing and sensing the danger of that black mass in the middle, I will quickly warn and almost force Tonto to a halt where we are. Be wary of that.
You can see a slight shiver in Tonto's countenance as he looks up to you and moves from his position on all fours up 2 feet and grabs at the side of your cloak.
What is that?
Well, it's the same matter that Eli was working on. I believe it to be the same that plagues Guru and his wife. And almost certainly the same thing which made you forget everything. The same thing which is making one of these just as uncomfortable as it is us.
Yes. can feel it from here, Yohm. Makes me remember things. Bad things.
Yeah. Keep your distance, Sam. I don't think there's any more around here. I don't want to sound callous, but using the rest of a Mamu as the guide might do us well. They seem to not want to go near it just as much as us, sir.
No. They are scared. They hide.
Now, I am intrigued, though. And I just look around. Are there any just really small, rough bits of bright stone that are laying around, like pebble-sized at all?
Or roll me an investigation check.
Of course. And that time it's going to be a natural 1 for a total of 2.
In this specific sort of lighting condition, by this orange glow of this torch, which lights the majority of this chamber and the things you can see, it is quite difficult to distinguish between bright stone itself and just rubble from the inside of this mountain. And so you pick up a rock that you believe possibly might be a small fragment of unadulterated bright stone. You couldn't be sure under this light.
Tonto, stay back. And I raise my arm to indicate that I might throw this little pebble towards the cart in question, when I'm as sure as I can be that I feel safe in front of this alien situation. And the same as Tonto, I will throw, not with loads of force, not to try and cause damage to anything there, but to just see if it reacts in any way.
As you hurl this stone of questionable origin towards this black mass, it arcs through the air, just about almost lands upon the top, in the center of it. Before it can quite hit the undulating darkness itself, one of these wispy, hand-like tendrils suddenly snaps the rock from the air. You can almost see it hold it with black, dark fingers and pulls it into the center. And after just a moment, it wobbles and spits it back out of itself as it callously scatters to the other side of the cave.
It reacts, at least. Yes, we'll definitely keep our space. I wonder to what capacity, though.
I think it... I don't know, Yohm. I can feel it. I can feel it like other Mamu. But... don't know what it wants. It wants something, though. I don't like it.
Is it a longing, a desire, a greed?
Yes. But it is sorrowful too. It is grieved.
Well, you see how that rock got spat back out?
Ah.
I think it's searching for the Brightstone. I can't tell you what it's doing with it, but it doesn't look good. It looks like carrion. On days after death, it's... I feel like it wants to consume all the brightstone it can find. Don't know why, but... we last saw it in the caves of Schwertsuna. Well, we know brightstone is ample, and here again.
Is there anything we can do?
Well, I've got two ideas at the moment, really, equally as plausible as each other. We either give it brightstone or try and take it away. I couldn't tell you which is better at the moment.
Okay. Well, maybe we try both. But I must say, Yohm, I can't go much closer to the brightstone. Well, maybe I could. I could try. But makes me very uncomfortable.
I know, we're only if we have to. Yeah, only if we have to. We've got more things to look at first anyway. There's no need to rush. I noticed over there on the floor these sigils. Let's see if we can find out a little bit more about them. And then, Story Master, roughly, what sort of space are Yohm and Tonto working within this cavern? How much room do we have around the carts? How much distance between us and the hiding Mamu?
Sure. So the cavern in total is large. I would say you're dealing with something that is between sort of 80 to 100 foot square. Quite a wide open space around you and quite a tall ceiling. You certainly couldn't grab the Mamu that hide in the various crevices of the ceiling above you. They are quite high up. In terms of the track and the carts in front of you, there's about 20 foot before the first empty cart in front of you, and the carts themselves stretch about 40 foot. These are large, long carts. So you're still some distance away from that undulating black matter. And these carved sigils on the ground, and that large one that seems to be laying directly underneath the track that's been laid on top of it is about 20 foot away, just before the start of the first cart.
Okay. Whilst Yohm's sort of passing all this spatial information out in his head, and he's trying to essentially safely plan a route through this cavern whilst maintaining hopefully optimal distance between both the carts and the cavern walls that bear around him, trying not to veer too close to either. But thinking so, he's going to find roughly the middle ground in his mind where he thinks that is. Pick up just another rock of any kind and throw it to where he thinks that safe route might be, and just seeing if the matter reacts again, or if indeed anything else does.
Okay. Your attempt is to sort of throw it almost adjacent to the matter in a path to almost attempt to see its range.
Yes, he's kind of trying to lead around the carts to where the sigil is, to see if where he thinks is roughly in the middle is going to be grabbed at by the matter or potentially pounced upon, as he knows these Mamu sometimes do.
So, you take another piece of this rubble from the ground, which general rubble is plentiful in a mine, throw it over towards a place on the ground which is very close to the sigil itself. And as you do so and it arcs towards the ground, you can see that it hits onto the ground and it scatters along. And that this position where the rock hit, being still a good perhaps 30 feet away from the black matter itself, the matter doesn't seem to react.
Alright then, well, stay close to me. Let's go check this out. And we're going to carefully and as stealthily as we can manage creep our way around towards that sigil, bearing the same sort of trajectory that the rock just did. As I'm walking though, Yohm will quietly scrape up a handful of those rocks, gravelly sort of things as he can, and holding that at the ready with an eye towards that matter. Hopefully, with the aim to, if he sees any of it, reaching at him or Tonto to try and throw these rocks out as a diversion of sorts.
Okay. As you carefully creep your way along the trajectory path of this rock, they all the while being cautious of the movements of this matter, rubble in hand, ready to act if necessary. Things seem okay. You move closer. It doesn't seem to move turbulently, quite. As you step just those last few feet towards where the sigil lays on the ground, you can feel a tight grasp from Tonto at your side as he lets out a small yelp. And you can see his brow furrow and his eyes close. Just going to roll a wisdom saving throw for Tonto now. And with a 21, he shakes his head and almost tries to make himself more upright as a means of shaking off this sort of thing that overcame his body. And he looks up to you, says,
"It's trying to speak to me. Yohm, I don't want to listen."
Don't then listen to me. I am still here. We are okay.
We are okay.
Alright, you're not the only Mamu in here. There are loads of you. Feel them. Focus on them, Tonto.
Them. I feel them. We're together.
Yes. And we're all a little bit scared. But we're okay.
Yes.
Alright, now while looking at me, just take a few steps back towards that wall. You okay?
Okay.
Oh, look at this. Hey, they won't hurt you.
Okay.
and Tonto takes those few careful steps backwards away from where you are, slightly safer distance.
Just let me know if your friends feel any different, okay?
Okay. Maybe I will talk to them.
Yeah.
Sure. And you see Tonto step back a little further, until he eventually reaches one of the sides of the walls and begins to sort of very carefully use one of his arms to pull himself up weightlessly a bit further towards the ceiling, almost as if you're watching an astronaut in 0G pull themselves through gravityless space, as he very slowly moves towards these, as I say, almost crustacean crab-like Mamu, glowing blue on the ceiling. And you can see him just stop above you in the ceiling behind you and begin to whisper gentle, unheard words in the distance.
A minor little bit of relief, then I'm going to direct my attention back at this main sigil on the floor and just try and investigate it a little bit more.
I'd like you to roll me an investigation check and also either a history or an arcana, your choice.
I think we'll go you investigation and history.
Okay.
And that's going to be a 3 for the investigation.
Okay.
And then 11 for history.
Oh. As you kneel down to investigate this carved sigil upon the floor, as I say, tracks have been laid directly on top of it, and although it is quite large, perhaps nearly 10 feet in circumference, this circular carving on the floor, it is still obscured by these tracks, and so its precise nature is a little difficult to ascertain. What you can see is a circular rim of ornate carving that looks quite beautiful and intricate, or at least was at a time. It's now slightly faded, weathered. In the center appears to be crustaceans of some kind, crab-like creatures holding claws. It may resemble to Tom the player a zodiac sign of some sort. But that's as much as you can make out. These crab-like creatures holding hands, holding claws. On an 11 history, was it?
Yes.
This looks very much like the very little of what Yohm has seen of those ancient artifacts, of the first awoken ones, those first tribes that came to the continent, and their unknown, little understood societies, of which few relics remain. But the style of carving looks very much like it. What it is or what it pertains to, you could not see.
It's these disparate bits of information are all bouncing around in Yohm's head at the moment, and he's doing his best to come up with some form of working theory about this all, and at the very least, I think it's safe to say he's pretty confident that this place we're in now was built before even Teot itself, and thusly the symbols here, not being much of a historian, he knows it's going to be some sort of almost religious look at the Mamu, as he knows that was just how the tribes operated at the time, but knows little more than that. creep his way on further towards Tonto again and the wall, away from said sigil. And whilst he does, he just wants to take a look at the carts, the front and backs of the carts. Do they have like hitching points on, so to speak?
On a closer look, you can easily see that yes, there are circular hitching points, and the 3 carts that sit there on the track are hitched to each other, but there are hitching points on at least the closest side. You can see you could easily put another cart on there or something else to it if you wish.
And does there appear to be any immediate blockages or obstacles on those rails?
Blockages that may prevent you from pulling it further out of the cave or further into the cave?
Either way, really, at a semi-quick look. In case if there's like a large rafter there or a car that has been upturned.
As far as you can see, on the track ahead of you, there is quite a bit of scattered rubble. You might be able to, if you were to try and pull the cart directly out of the cave and back towards the direction of Teot, you would probably have to sweep and clear the area. There are some large pieces of rubble scatter the track, going deeper into the cave, where the remaining Brightstone presumably resides. The track is clear.
Just leaving the cart still there for now, but keeping it in his mental pocket, so to speak. And yes, he will go back towards Tonto and just share some of those thoughts he had a moment ago about this sigil and his belief that it holds a lot of significance to the Mamu in times long ago.
As you move further back towards the wall, Tonto notices your movement. Gently glides down from where he speaks with the Mamu on the ceiling, floats gently, spiral down to your side on the floor.
What did you find?
Some old symbol. It's important, though. Something as old as it must be, it would have taken an awful lot of work to make. Something from when people like me first walked upon Sopros. And they're seemingly paying some sort of tribute to, I think, these Mamu.
See? Yes. They said that these Mamu here, they have lived here a long time. A very long time, they said. Oh, I guess that would make sense.
Did they say, why it's, changed?
Well, what they told me was that since they have lived here, there has been a lot of change. For a long time, they would live here with the people in peace, and they would help the people as well. And that this is where they came to join together and to live and learn from the spirits, from the other Mamu who are here. And then the miners came. They don't know them as the miners, but I do. And that was fine, although they made big holes, and they opened up areas to the Brightstone, and so they had to avoid these places. But then just recently, that is when the miners they pulled out that dark stuff. I'm in there. He points his head towards that tunnel that leads deeper into the mine. And it went wild, and it attacked some of the miners, and it changed some of the Mamu that lived here. I feel like this is what changed me, Yohm. I remember it. Just about. It's still a little bit fuzzy.
What do you remember about when we first met?
Just before, I was happy. I was one. But then, somehow, the darkness, the dark matter, it came and it changed me, Yohm, and I don't know what happened, but I became lost and scared and frightened and had bad thoughts. And I couldn't see anything and I couldn't do anything. For how long, I don't know. But then you came, Yohm. And you told me not to be frightened. And you told me that you would help me. And it all went away.
So just somehow, the two of us made it go away.
Yeah.
That's a little reassuring, at least.
Is there anything else you'd like me to ask the Mamu?
So many things, but I'm trying to focus, I guess, a little bit for now. I'm guessing there's gonna be even more of them further in.
Even more Mamu?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. They're somewhere.
Even I can almost feel them around us, like a changing of the winds. It's in the air.
I don't know what that feels like, but if wind feels like Mamu, yes, because the wind is everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when it flows and changes, you feel it, don't you?
You remember?
Yeah, I think that's a little like the Mamu.
Well, Tante, most people like me, we don't feel the Mamu, just the wind, so this place is special.
Yes. Feels special. I think think I can feel their presence too. The Mother Spirit. She is somewhere.
Now, when we first met, Tonto, I still have no real idea how this happened, but me and Kieran were both brought into that place where we found you. We were brought in by seemingly getting swallowed by quite possibly the biggest Mamu I've ever seen. And that Mamu had the darkest of eyes. And deep within, we found you. So, call it a hunch or some form of divine intervention maybe, but I think we have to do the same here. Somehow, I think that voice we heard, the Mamu that attacked us on the blimp, or the ones that have brought us here, haven't been doing it to try and hurt us, no. They're trying to bring us in again. So I can do whatever it is we did before and pull the real Mamu back out.
Okay then, Yohm. We should do it.
We're just gonna have to be a little bit careful along the way. And the idea, I guess, is if some of this mass somehow gets on us, I think we should still have some time. I think. People like Godu have managed to walk themselves out of here still, and it's not done them too much harm off the bat, so if ever there's a need, I should be the one to take that weight first. Not you.
Yohm, I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Well, me neither, but it's safe to reason I will still be me if that mass catches me. We know it is far worse for you.
Yes. I would not like that to happen again.
No. Not if we can help it, so as best we can, always stay in between me and the blue ones, yeah?
Okay.
Alright. And for now, just ignore whatever it is that is trying to say to you.
I will do my best.
And remember, you're not alone. I am here. And do tell me, but we don't want to pay it no mind.
No mind. No. Yes. Pay it no mind.
Alright. Well then, I suppose we press on.
In there.
We're gonna have to see.
Okay.
Roll me an insight check if you wish.
And that's gonna be a 7.
Tonto looks to you with a brave face. Tonto is scared.
And we're gonna carry on creeping around away from the track as best we can, staying quite close to the walls, paying attention for any notable changes in the flooring underneath, if there are any more obvious sigils or other clearly crafted components that aren't of miner's make. And very much clutching that fist of stone still, paying very close attention for any matter as we creep forward. Just for now, trying to cast a little bit more light down the tunnel and see where it goes before trudging on down there.
Okay. So once again, pressing on, keeping yourselves close to the edge of this large chamber so as to avoid the reach of this black matter. Creep slowly towards that secondary pathway, that carved tunnel through which you believe the rest of the mine lays. And as you keep an eye out for any other particular sigils or carvings of note, please roll me an investigation check.
That's going to be an 8.
Now coming closer to the walls in order to make your way around to the furthest side of this chamber, you can, even with an 8, quite clearly see now the difference between man-made mine and man-made temple. There's this clear cut-off point, almost, where it looks obvious from the jagged, blown-out walls, where this chamber has been enlarged for the purposes of industrious operation, and they've simply been either blown out with explosive or chipped away at with tools. You have this rough surface of the cage edge. But then as you come closer towards the tunnel that you make your way towards, you can see there these intricate carvings, very many on the walls that even lead way up, almost to the ceiling above. But with the sparse light you carry, the sheer number of carvings, and the time that has weathered these carvings, it is difficult to interpret them exactly. What you can see quite clearly is the largest carving that sits just above this tunnel you're about to enter, and it is of a mountain, a peaked mountain with the rising moon just above it. And then directly underneath, this triangular emblem with 3 hexagonal pupilled eyes in each of the corners of these triangles.
As we're still gently and carefully scooting into this tunnel way more, and we're trying our best to pay attention for apparent dangers as well as archaeological findings. We'll just nudge Tonto's attention towards it as well, just so he sees what it is that I'm looking at. Those eyes in the bottom.
He looks up. See?
That's what wine looks like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And I'm assuming these aren't like coloured in or anything. It's all just the material.
As far as you can see, perhaps at one time it may have been coloured, but time has worn these carvings away.
And that same day again when I met you. Remember I was telling you about dreams?
Yes. I think I understand them now.
Well, that was the very first time I saw one of those eyes in my dream. Then again, when flying here. One as gold as day, and the other cold, blue, white, maybe. I'm not sure. I
Yes.
thought they were the same originally, but they weren't.
I remember I saw the blue eye too. And you did. But I don't think I was dreaming. Don't think.
So Tonto, I gave you a reason, I guess, to be you. When you were scared and lost.
Yes, you did.
I didn't make you, I certainly didn't create you, I just found you and in the finding, help it be obvious that you were you.
I think you did more than that.
Well, I'm just thinking, this Oyageist, the mother spirit,
Yes.
as you say, well, maybe she's just forgotten her name too.
Yes. Maybe she is scared like I was. Maybe she feels alone like I did and just needs to remember.
The further we walk in here, the strangest feeling of purpose is falling upon me.
Purpose.
Yeah, it's strange. It really feels like we're supposed to be here. Like we're supposed to see that.
Oh, Yohm. Of course we're supposed to be here. Or else we wouldn't be.
But you're not wrong here. Say, in here, Tonto, do you feel anything different? Not the Mamu again, and not whatever that is. feel something else?
I guess a little, yes. As soon as I saw that stuff, that thing over there, I started to remember things. Not just the bad memories and the dark times, but something from before. I feel like I'm missing something, Yohm. And I feel like maybe part of what I'm missing is here.
I think I know what you mean. Like, whatever it is that's happening in here needs to happen. For both of us. In it plain as day, like hunger or thirst. We'll find it. We'll find it.
As you say these words, you're just now managing, seemingly safely, to approach the tunnel entrance on the other side of these carts, passing the closest you've yet been to this black matter. And just as you pass it, just entering upon the precipice of this tunnelway, Tonto once again hunches over, grabbing your side. His eyes close. And he violently shakes off this feeling, and you can see that he stops and almost stumbles in his tracks. And looks up to you with these glistening eyes. It's hard, Yohm. It's hard. It's very hard. Think I can go on?
Did the matter again? Is it trying?
It feels like it whispers in my ear. So close. Telling me things that aren't true.
Okay, well, wait here a moment then, yeah? And Yohm will, not as sneakily at all this time, but still carefully following almost the exact same steps he would have taken in reverse now. He's going to go back around to the front of the first cart he would have come across when he was making his way into the cave originally. And that's still some 20-30 foot between that cart and where the mass is, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So yeah, he'll make his way round the back, taking a long distance around there, and tie up some of his rope onto the open hitch. And with as much strength as he can muster, try his best to haul it a bit of distance to see if there's any sort of momentum he can build up to try and haul it out the way, just so the carts will ride far enough towards the entrance, so Tonto making his way further forward will be hopefully unabashed by these dark thoughts.
With some ease, you manage to trace your steps back, and as a seasoned adventurer. You use a tried and reliable knot, hitching it quite easily at the front of these carts, though as you brace yourself, wrapping this rope around your hands, ready to pull, this feat of strength will require some effort. I'll ask you to roll strength for me, please.
And that will be another natural 20 for a total of 20.
And as you brace yourself to use all of the strength contained within you, fueled by the resolute want to simply make your good friend not suffer. That energy is channeled directly through you, and with the combined strength within you and a little bit of tactile luck and skill, utilizing the wooden rungs of the track beneath you to use your legs as part of the strength to add some oomph towards what you're doing, begin to get a strong momentum in these carriages, and they drag behind you as such that you can pull and pull until they start moving quite easily, and you can move this thing some good 30, 40 feet forward, almost as if you're dragging it back through the tunnel through which you entered. And it remains clear of the tunnel entrance that you try to enter on the other side, pulling it well out of Tonto's way. Bearing in mind, of course, that this has now changed the position, potential radius of this black matter if you attempt to return to Tonto on the other side.
He's gonna shake himself off after that crack at the back a little bit. And now he's going to roughly the distance now between him, where the mass is, and then where Tonto is on the far side.
The distance between himself and the mass at this point.
Yeah, and then the distance between the mass and Tonto on the far side as well.
You are, having just pulled these carts at the front of the carts, you are about 30 feet from the back cart now. And the distance between the back cart, where the black matter is, and Tonto stood somewhat near the entranceway to the rest of the mine is between 40 and 50 feet.
Alright then, Yohm is going to try his best to use his newfound dexterity and his light step, so to speak. And he is going to run up and towards the cart where the mass is, about 10 foot away, just further than 10 foot away where the mass is. He will scatter that fistful of stones he's been holding off to one side, and he will make a grand old leap from the carts over and around the mass, as he will use one of his focus points to do a step on the wind over and above, taking a long run and a long old jump to see if he can make it past in as hopefully quick enough and far enough a flash.
Just so I understand precisely this maneuver you are attempting to undergo, you wish to use these steps to get reasonably close. Within 10 feet, you say, or you wish to throw stones within 10?
Just before 10 foot. So 12-ish or so foot in. To throw them still off to a side, but near enough. And then ideally jump, climb, dash around the other way at the same time. Knowing that the distance might not be entirely on his side this time, but hopefully speed will be.
For attempting, I will get you to roll me a straight dexterity for the throwing of these rocks. And I'm going to ask you to do that with disadvantage, because you are hurtling at speed.
And that'll be a 13 with disadvantage.
As you brace yourself, scraping across the floor, grab a handful of these rocks, ready to throw. Staring into the heart of this black matter. You rush forward across the width of this chamber, leaping towards where Tonto stands. And as you leap, hurtling these stones across and over top this black matter, the tendrils flail in disparate directions as several projectiles are caught and sucked into it. And you feel almost this reaching lick, and the air and pressure change as this tendril, just as you come across, begins to move towards your torso. And what seems like a crooked fingertip almost touches out towards you, but shoop, you are gone, landing, tumbling, and continuing to run on the other side towards Tonto. As you look back, and you see this mass vibrating, almost from your perception, with a sense of anger, and ejects these 6 or 7 small projectiles that it has just consumed. Please roll me a dexterity as these fly out.
That'll be a 6.
And with a 6, one of these projectiles comes directly towards you, hitting you square in the chest. And you'll take 3 points of damage.
You're right, Tonto.
Tonto looks up at you with gleaming eyes.
Yohm, you were so fast. I've never seen you move so fast.
I don't think I've ever moved so fast.
Didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say I learned it from you.
Me?
Yeah. Ever since we've met. Or... well, ever since you helped fix my leg. I've just not felt quite so heavy.
Well, it was nothing. Happy to help.
Are you feeling better now?
Much better. Thank you, Yohm.
No, it's all right, and I'm sorry to ask, but did you feel anything when that happened?
When tried to talk to me?
When it lashed out?
Oh. No. Felt scared, but didn't feel anything from it.
Well, that's okay. Remember, sometimes fear's a good thing. It can help us. As long as we are the ones that stay in control.
That's the thing about fear, isn't it? Sometimes it takes control.
Yeah. But we can't hear it now, so need to not worry about that. Instead, what do you think about this here mountain? And I gesture back to the symbol of the mountain moon and eyes. Hopefully with a little bit more room to think.
Tonto makes a little shuffle backwards, also crane his head up. Across the wall all the way up to the ceiling to fully take a look at this carving.
Well, I guess this mountain kind of looks like the mountain we're under now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought you might say that.
And those eyes, they look like the mother spirits. They look just like them.
Yeah. So, your friends were right. This must have been their home for a very long time.
Yes.
Way back when. Some people like me, kind enough to share this home. Well, hopefully the mother sees us more as old friends, rather than these strangers.
I hope so. I think they will.
Alright then. To the task. And I take a bold step in front of Tonto again to make sure that whatever unknowns lay before us, they hopefully come to me first. As we walk down, still calm and quiet, walking down this deeper tunnel to see where these excavations have come from.